Steve and Mary have been married for 24 years. They've enjoyed training puppies for canines for warriors together. They had plans to retire and travel to see family and follow their favorite college sports teams. Until Steve was given an unexpected diagnosis of early onset Alzheimer's disease when he was just 59 years old.
We've been married 24 years. He was a traveling salesman, so he has been in sales his whole career. That's part of so he was very good at it because of his social aspect to his personality. He made friends everywhere he went. And that was really the beginning of it. I started to see him getting confused. He sold orange juice for Florida's Natural Orange Juice, and so traveled all throughout the United States. And I could see the logistics, many customers with different shipments of orange juice in different packages, and he was struggling some with that. I asked him twice, very specifically, I said, are you confused? You seem confused. And he said, yes, I'm confused. So the final straw was to get him to see a neurologist and to get a diagnosis. Was he went to the wrong city for a conference. First time that's ever happened, anything like that, where he got confused about where he was supposed to be. So we took him in. He was 59, and I took him to Mayo. He was diagnosed with mild cognitive impairment, like everybody is at that beginning stage. We truly never brought it up to his work because that thought never crossed my mind. It never crossed his mind. I didn't see it really impairing his work. He worked out of the home or he traveled, and so I worked in an office. I was gone during the day. I didn't really see him do his work. The thought never crossed my mind that we could have asked for accommodations and that there were things that could have been done to help him. And that was really the biggest day that Steve cried. I mean, that was a hard day. The day he said, you have Alzheimer's and you don't need to work anymore. And he cried and I cried, and we went to my sister's, and her husband is a doctor, and they cried with us, and that was probably the hardest day. I called his work. He couldn't do it. He didn't feel like he could call his boss and tell him. And I told him that he had been diagnosed with Alzheimer's and that he needed to go on disability. I don't cry much anymore. But he said his exact words to me, his boss's exact words to me were, "Oh my God, Mary, this explains so much."
Eventually, Steve was no longer able to be home alone. Mary was still working full-time, so at first she hired private care to stay with him. It soon became apparent that Steve's lifelong love of social interaction wasn't going to go away just because he had Alzheimer's. Mary shared that it made her feel better to have Steve at home, but Steve needed to be around people and was missing the joy he found in more social settings. She said that making the decision to place him in memory care was the hardest decision she's ever made, but it was the right one and has been a blessing for Steve and for their relationship.
I come in every single night after work. I work till 5, sometimes depending on the day I'll get here 5 or 6 o'clock. He was always at the front door. He stays at the front door. He's very social, so they a lot of times have a seat for him at the front door. He has a name tag that he wears that says Stevie D, Boss Man on it. So he has a name tag like everybody else, and everybody here knows him. I let the staff do his showering. They brush his teeth in the mornings. They have him shave. Sometimes he's getting a little bit more combative with that. And when we got here, he really was just needing prompting. He can shave himself. He has an electric razor. He can bathe himself. But it's getting a little bit harder. He's needing to be pushed rather than prompted to do those things. So I've tried a couple different times to figure out a bit of a routine with him, and I do come always at the end of the day now. Many times he's actually at the glass door looking out, waiting for me, and we go back to his room. We'll lay down in bed. We watch the same television shows that we've always watched. We watch Judge Judy. We watch the news at 6, Judge Judy at 7, Family Feud at 7:30, and then he'll start falling asleep. The beautiful thing is I'm not doing those things like the shaving and the showering When he was at home before I brought him, it was a point of contention for us. He would get mad at me. It was a fight, me giving him his medicine, me making him do all these things when he didn't want to do that. I really don't do that anymore, and that's really the beauty of it. I can't tell you the last time in real life, in our old life, that I got into bed with him and laid down with him and we watched TV. We never did that. I was in the kitchen, I was doing things around the house. We now have the time so that I don't have to be his caregiver. I can come in and be his wife. So I get to lay down. It's really a relaxing time for me in the business world and getting here every day and taking care of the things that I need to do. It's really sort of a time for me to check out too. So we lay there holding hands, and he'll rest his head on my shoulder and we just relax together. And it's a nice way to end every single day. We had a plan. We literally had a financial plan that the house was going to be paid off and he was going to retire, and exactly what that looked like. I'm 9 years younger than him, so I was going to continue to work for a little while longer. We were going to travel. We have a grandson who is a sophomore in high school who plays football. We wanted to go watch him play football. We're both huge college football fans. We wanted to travel and follow our teams to their games all over the United States, and all of that comes to a screeching halt. I see all of my friends with their spouses, with their families, just having a husband that I can talk to about the day, about what's happened, and that they have problems at their homes and they need things to be fixed, and they can talk about it with each other and they can discuss things, and they can, all of that is gone. It is 100% my responsibility to do it all. I don't know how long this is going to last. That's really, really hard accepting on an everyday basis. I truly believe the hardest thing about this disease, well, there's a lot of hard things about it, but one of the hardest things is that you can't see it. There isn't a loss of hair. There isn't a scar from surgery. There isn't something that makes you know that that person is sick. So the only thing that's different is their interaction with you, or maybe your interaction with them. And so I have tried very hard with our family and friends to educate them. I even printed up, I typed together, have a couple really good resources that I learned from, and I typed up pages to send to people that I know would be, like Steve's children who were coming to spend a week with us last summer, and ways to interact with him so that you feel comfortable. And everybody that I send it to tells me, oh my gosh, this is such a help. Because everybody is afraid. And everybody's afraid to say, you hear things like saying, don't ask him, do you remember when we went to, so everybody's afraid to say anything because they're not going to say the right thing. You can ask him that all day long. He's not going to answer you if he doesn't remember anything. But he is not going to get hung up on that. So it's very easy to let all that go and just be with him. Because for him, he doesn't understand the time. What he understands is the love. He can feel the love. I'm telling you, I know it. He may not know your name, but he knows that he loves you. And more importantly, he knows that you love him. And that feeling is so incredibly valuable to him. And that's why I want people not to be afraid. That's it. That's the core. It's him feeling like he is loved makes him happy. And it makes him okay with his life the way that it is. Right now, I have to be with him every day, and to have other people who help me with that and other people who connect with him on a regular basis makes me feel like I'm not alone in this, because that can be as overwhelming as anything, is that I am the sole person. I'm the only person that's here to help him, to hold his hand, to laugh with him, to just listen to him. And I just listen to him. He talks a lot, but I have no idea what he's saying. They're real words, but I can't understand what he's saying. But he wants to be listened to. We all want to be listened to. And those are the little things that I really want people to know. It's not hard. You don't need to be afraid of it. It's being with somebody that you love, and it helps him and it helps me. And it really is a huge part of knowing that there's reinforcement. There's knowing that there's people who care about both of us and can help us through these long days. I know what's coming. And there's a part of me that doesn't want that to happen to him or to me. And it's very conflicting, and it's very lonely. You feel as if you are alone in this. I'm here every single day. I have to be here every single day. There is no way at the end of the day that I can just be at home without coming and spending some time with him. I just can't do it. And people tell me you don't have to go every day. There's no reason. I just can't do it. Not now. Maybe down the road, I don't know. But right now, I have to be with him every day. I love him, and I will be with him till the last breath he takes. I adore him, and I am thrilled. And I tell his children and his grandchildren, this is an honor. We have an honor to take care of him.
While none of the decisions that have to be made for someone with Alzheimer's disease are easy, Steve and Mary's commitment to each other and to the love they share make their situation work each day. Their joy is found in making the moments together count, rather than just counting the moments they have left. Only days after this interview was recorded, Steve's memory care residence was put on lockdown to help prevent the spread of the COVID-19 virus. The staff helps facilitate video chats between Steve and Mary, and they send pictures often. That will have to be enough until the day when Mary can resume their evening visits and find the hug that will inevitably be waiting at the door for her.